Since ancient times, the financial elite have been planning, waiting. Dreams of domination, of total control, have been passed down. Their plan has changed hands countless times, but its core goal has remained unchanged, nurtured through generations. From Caesar to Charlemagne, from Napoleon to Roosevelt, and down to the present day, and the first generation with the technology to carry that plan out. When they unleash it on an unsuspecting public, there will be no time to prepare, no time to react. In just 48 hours, the elites will freeze bank and brokerage accounts worldwide. Millions of Americans will lose access to their own money, in some cases, forever. And the elites will have seized unprecedented control over our money and our very lives. But one of their most respected members has decided to break ranks. He has agreed to expose their plan today in full. What he reveals over the next few minutes could save your family from sudden financial ruin. As you're about to see, it could one day save your life. Hello, I'm John Burke for the Daily Reckoning. We are coming to you today from our perch overlooking the White House in our nation's capital. Welcome to this emergency briefing with Jim Rickards, financial threat and asymmetric warfare advisor to the White House, Pentagon, and CIA. Rickards joins us today with an urgent warning, one he hopes all Americans will heed. According to Jim Rickards and members of the U.S. intelligence community, the time to prepare has arrived. Mr. Rickards, welcome to our broadcast.
My pleasure, John. Thank you for having me.
Now, your team has identified a network of elite operatives, and they have wormed their way into many of the most powerful financial institutions on earth. This list includes the International Monetary Fund, the Bank of International Settlements, the World Bank, the United Nations, and every central bank in the G20, including our own Federal Reserve. When the signal sounds, you predict that this network will pull the plug on the global financial system. Now, that will cause every bank, brokerage, and business to go dark in a massive coordinated attack. Their latest hit list, if you will, includes some 5,967 banks, such as Wells Fargo, Citigroup, and J.P. Morgan Chase. But they won't stop at the banks. These elite operatives will move to take control of approximately 3,800 asset managers as well. Now, Jim, you expect to see them seize control of BlackRock for nearly $5 trillion, Fidelity for $2 trillion, Vanguard for $3 trillion, and UBS and State Street for a combined $5 trillion or so. And when the freeze comes, citizens nationwide will lose access to their money almost instantly. No cash will be allowed to enter or exit the system without the network's approval. And Donald Trump's presidency will not likely survive the chaos about to ensue. But before we get to the details about this, I want to remind our viewers of your background, Jim. In the 1970s, you helped the White House to craft the petrodollar accord. Your actions helped to save the U.S. dollar and the oil embargo and sidestep war in the Middle East. In 1981, you helped the Reagan administration negotiate an end to the Iran hostage crisis, saving 53 American lives. In the 1990s, you helped the Fed wind down long-term capital management, averting a collapse of the global financial system. After 9/11, the CIA recruited you to assist on a counterterrorism project called Project Prophecy. You created a system to detect terrorist attacks before they happen by decoding complex financial signals. In 2006, Prophecy detected a looming terrorist attack in London. Officials were able to intercept the attackers, saving countless lives. That same year, you began warning our intelligence officials in Washington of a looming financial crisis. In September 2006, the CIA circulated your warning among its senior staff. Your full thesis appeared in the CIA's official journal, Studies in Intelligence. That material remains classified. However, on August 24, 2007, you shared the same warning with officials from the U.S. Treasury Department. You even supplied Treasury with a plan for averting the crisis called Proposal to Obtain and Manage Information in Response to Capital Markets Crisis. Unfortunately, Washington failed to act on your warnings in time. The result was the worst financial crisis since the Great Depression. Now, Jim, you say we're about to experience a radically new kind of crisis. one that will freeze the financial system, leading to global chaos. In your new book, The Road to Ruin, you write, the next financial crisis will not be merely a bigger version of the 1998 and 2008 crises. It will be qualitatively different. It will encompass multiple asset classes on a global scale. It will exhibit inflation not seen since the 1970s, insolvency not seen since the 1930s, and exchange shutdowns not seen since 1914. State power will be summoned to contain panic. Capitalism will be discredited once and for all. Not only will the coming crisis destroy more investor wealth than 2008, not only will it last much longer than the Great Depression, this crisis will be historic for another reason, and I'm talking about this network of elites using the crisis for cover. At the appointed hour, they'll launch their attacks, and the financial system will go dark worldwide. Trillions will vanish instantly, and in many cases, permanently. And hundreds of millions of Americans will be cut off from their own money for months or even years. Now, this sounds like the biggest confiscation of wealth in history, there's no doubt. So, Jim, let me ask, could you please share with our viewers where this threat is coming from and how to prepare?
Let's start with some background and context, because I know this must sound hard for some viewers to believe. I was having dinner with a friend not long ago in New York City. We met at a place called Oriole, which is in Midtown. My dinner companion that night was a senior advisor to BlackRock. As you may know, BlackRock is now the largest asset manager on the planet. It directly manages $5 trillion in assets, and it oversees another $11 trillion through its Aladdin platform. That means one firm controls more money than the GDPs of China, Russia, and Japan combined. Anyway, my dinner companion happens to work directly for BlackRock's CEO. As we nursed our white wine and the evening wore on, she let something slip. If I remember her words, she said something like, "They want to tell us we can't sell." What was she talking about? Who was she talking about? I placed a few calls, first to my contacts in Washington, then to a few people on Wall Street. Soon I was on a plane for a series of meetings to London, to Geneva, back to New York, then down to South America. As I began connecting the dots, a pattern emerged. It revealed a network of more than 189 individuals positioned inside the world's major financial institutions. Some of them hold senior positions inside the IMF, World Bank, and every central bank in the G20, including our own Federal Reserve. These elites share one vision, and they're about to make it a reality. That vision is one world order, one world taxation, and one world money. They've worked for years behind the scenes preparing to realize that vision. They've literally rigged the laws of international finance. Everything is basically in place right now, and there's essentially no way to stop this from happening. When the crisis hits, they'll flip the switch, freezing the global financial system. That will give them time to reset